When it comes to the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups, by the way, this is sponsored by the Fantasy Golf Pod. Check them out Wednesdays, usually in the morning, around 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. They are sponsoring this segment. They're also the ones that are helping with giving away $100. So go check in with them Wednesdays. Go thank them with a subscription and a like on their video. When it comes to optimal and GPP winning lineups for the Masters, we can start all the way back to 2015. 2015 is the first time I have salaries in my spreadsheets. And in 2015, we had some really odd salaries. Now, one thing I want to get out there right away, because some people always kind of find it, they're a bit skeptical when it comes to salary analysis. Why are we looking at salaries? Well, to put it in Chad Eckert, who is the host of the Fantasy Golf Pod, to put it in his words, salaries are DraftKings power rankings, right? So they rank whoever they think is the best golfer in the field at the highest price point. Now, when it comes to those price points, DraftKings for a long time have done a very traditional way of building lineups. Now, if you're an avid DFS golfer, you already know that DraftKings has dipped down into the 5K range. We don't have that this year, which is great because every year except for 2015, it's basically started 6K and up. So when we analyze salaries, we can try to figure out, does the top price guy, the TPG, as Chad Eckert likes to say, does he finish, inside the top 10? Does he finish inside the top 5? Is he in the optimal lineup? And how often is he? That's what I like to go over in these pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. So in 2015, despite the salaries being weird, you still can get a sense of what to do this week. So obviously, in 2015, you see Rory McIlroy finished 4th. He was $14,000 or $14,900. He was almost $15,000 at the 2015 Masters tournament. And he was not in the GPP winning lineup, and he was not in the optimal lineup. So let's go over the optimal. Basically, it's all these golfers with the black tick marks. We've got Jordan Spieth at 11.9. So again, $11,900. Is that too expensive? Doesn't look like it. 11.9. Jordan Spieth, 9,900. Phil Mickelson, he wasn't in the optimal. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. $9,700 Justin Rose was in the optimal. So too was $7,300 Paul Casey, $7,400 Ian Poulter, $7,000 Zach Johnson, and $6,000 Charlie Hoffman. So this is the optimal lineup. This is the perfect lineup. And it left $700 on the table. They don't have the total points. Anyways. So that was the best lineup you could build that week. Now, the Millie Maker lineup use up all 50,000 of the salary, and it's these golfers that are highlighted in blue. We have an 11.9, $99, and $9,700 golfer in that lineup. Then you have a 6, 6, 65. This is the definition of stars and scrubs. 3 golfers, $9,700 and above, and basically 2 min. Well, they wouldn't have been min priced guys. We see some $4,000 golfers here. 2015 was wild. But you have 6,000, 6,000, and 6,500. That is very stars and scrubs. Moving on to 2016, your optimal lineup left $500 on the table, and we had a $12,300 Jordan Spieth. So again, just thinking, are these can you do these salaries? Looks like we dropped down in the 5K. I don't have all of them populated. I had to go through the internet and try to find, basically I had to find articles of articles of people who liked certain golfers and whatever their price tags were with them. I didn't actually have access to all the price tags, but I was able to finish most of it, at least enough of the top here that matters. So anyways, $12,300 Jordan Spieth, $8,000 Danny Willett, 2 7K golfer, or make that 3 7K golfers and a 6K golfer. So a different way to say that is really a 10, an 8, 3 7s, and a 6, but it's really a 12. A 12, an 8, 3 7s, and a 6. That was your optimal lineup. It left $500 on the table. Your Millie Maker lineup, again, used all $50,000 of the salary, which I think we're probably going to see no matter what. And they started with a 12, 9, 8, 7, 7, 5. We don't have a 5K golfer this year, but that is what they used in the 2016 Millie Maker winning lineup. In 2017, your optimal lineup left a lot of money on the table, left $1,700, and that's primarily because there was no 10K golfer that finished inside the top 6. Rory finished 7th. He was 10,600. But then even after that, we don't have any other 10K golfer until 11th place Jordan Spieth. Yeah, your optimal lineup there was 83, 92, 79, 74, 77, and 78. There's Thomas Pieters. I was talking about him earlier. Had never played there before and finished 4th. This is when I was talking about golfers who shape shots in both directions. That was Thomas Pieters during his first time playing the Masters. But anyways, 9, 8, and 4 7s. That made your optimal lineup. Now, I never ever advise leaving money on the table. I think it's fool's gold to do that. Leaving $1,700 on the table, that's difficult to do. I would not do that. Now, it looks like I didn't record the Millie Maker lineup that year, but I have a realistic optimal lineup. See, the optimal lineup scored 561, and this lineup that I'm going to tell you scored 541. And that was a $10,600 Rory McIlroy. So going 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. And if you are new to the channel, I usually recommend that type of salary structure. Start that way. It's easier to build lineups like that. At least that's in my opinion. Start that way. And you often see optimal lineups or GPP winning lineups having that structure. It starts with a 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it either adds a 7 and a 6, a 7 and a 7, or a 6 and a 6. Those are your 3 main optimal lineup builds, as well as your main GPP winning lineup builds. Moving on to 2018, the optimal lineup left $200 on the table. It scored 609 points. Started with $7,700 Patrick Reed, $9,000 Ricky Fowler, $10,400 Jordan Spieth, $8,700 Bubba Watson, 71 and 71 in Charlie Hoffman and Russell Henley. The Millie Maker winning lineup used once again all $50,000 of the salary. So you don't have to get cute. If you want to win $1 million, you don't have to leave a lot of money on the table. On a limited field like this, you're going to hear a lot of people say, leave up to $500, $600, $700, $1,000 on the table. No, you don't have to. Not only was the perfect lineup close to 50,000, the actual Millie Maker winning lineup was 50,000 of the salary cap. It was those 3 top golfers that I already named, Reed, Fowler, and Spieth when it comes to the Millie Maker winning lineup. They also had Bubba Watson and Charlie Hoffman, who were in the optimal lineup, but instead of having Cam Smith, they had Russell Henley. And quite frankly, they missed out on the optimal lineup by 3 points. So the optimal scored 609, the Millie Maker scored 606. So you had to be perfect in order to take down $1 million. Otherwise, you just shared. You'd have shared the $1 million and then like the $100,000 second place. I think that's how much it's worth. So you would have split like 600,000, which is still good, but it's not $1 million, you know. Moving to 2019. Your optimal lineup left $100 on the table. So too did your Millie Maker lineup. So we start with 10-5 Tiger Woods, 9-5 Brooks Koepka, $8,500 Xander Schauffele, $7,400 Webb Simpson, $7,700 Patrick Cantlay, and $6,300 Justin Harding. That was your optimal lineup. Your GPP winning lineup did not have Tiger Woods at 10-5. It had Brooks at 9-5, $8,500 Xander Schauffele, $8,600 Francesco Molinari, $8,200 Tony Finau, $7,400 Webb Simpson, and $7,700 Patrick Cantlay. They both left $100 on the table. Your optimal scored 609. Your Millie Maker scored 603. So if you're really interested in winning $1 million, you need to focus on trying to hit the optimal lineup, which I know all of us are trying to do anyways. I'm the only person really digging into the specifics on how to target the optimal. So if there's ever a reason to follow this channel, it is for the Masters, because we're going to dig into everything you need to know on how to hit the optimal lineup. So that was your 2019 optimal, and And Millie Maker, let's continue on. In 2020, this was the November Masters. You had Dustin Johnson at 10,000 in the optimal lineup. By the way, the optimal left $900 on the table. So it was 10, 7, 7, 10, 6, 7. Let's repeat that in a different way. 2 10s, 3 7s, and a 6. That was your optimal lineup. Left $900 on the table. Again, your Millie Maker lineup left $0 on the table. Use up all $50,000 of the salary. The top 4 golfers, like we just named in the optimal lineup, 2 10s and 2 7s. But the GPP winning lineup had 2 more 7K golfers in it. So did not have a $6,500 Dylan Fratelli. Instead of Dylan Fratelli, you had Abraham Answer. So that's how you use up $50,000 of the salary. It was $900 more. Optimal scored 676. The Millie Maker scored 656. So there was a bigger gap that year. But again, you still need to be near perfect. All right, moving on to 2021. Your optimal lineup left $900 on the table. And it consisted of Xander Schauffele at $10,000, $9,400 Jordan Spieth, $8,300 Hideki Matsuyama, $7,300 Will Zalatoris, $7,200 Justin Rose, and $6,900 Corey Connors. Again, that left $900 on the table. Your Millie Maker finally finally left some money on the table. It left $400 instead of using up all $50,000. And it's the same 4 golfers at the top that we talked about. 10K, Xander, $9,400 Jordan, $8,300 Hideki, $7,300 Will Zalatoris. It also included $6,900 Corey Connors. Just to mention this, he was the most owned, one of the most owned golfers on the slate. Let me just double check that. Everyone was talking about how you should fade him because he's going to be super high owned. Yeah, 21% in the 6K range. Just wanted to mention that. But it was Corey Connors, and then it was $7,700 Paul Casey. That was your Millie Maker winning lineup. The optimal scored 589, and the Millie Maker scored 571. So 18-point gap. You could easily find yourself in between there. But again, it is definitely advantageous to try your best to hit the perfect lineup. In 2022, your optimal lineup left $0 on the table. 0. And it started with Scotty Scheffler at $11,000, $9,900 Cam Smith, $8,800 Shane Lowry, $7,600 Corey Connors, $6,200 Charles Schwartzel, and $6,500 Min Woo Lee. So just to kind of structure that differently, that is a 10-9-8-7-6-6. Like I said in the beginning of this video, starting out that salary structure is the best way to go. Your Millie Maker winning lineup left $200 on the table, and it also started with Scotty Scheffler, had Cam Smith, Shane Lowry in it as well, $6,200 Charles Schwartzel, $6,800 Kevin Na, but it had $7,100 Siwoo Kim down here in 39th place. So that's a bit odd when we've been going through this. Optimal scored 507.5. Your Millie Maker scored 477. That's a 30-point difference. I was gonna say 40 math. 30-point difference. So really beating the Millie Maker in 2022 was a bit easier than the previous years where you kind of needed the perfect lineup to do so. But just want to mention, perfect lineup left $0 on the table. In 2023, so last year where John Rahm won, you're going to see a sweet spot optimal. I'll talk about that. But the optimal left $1,200 on the table. It started with John Rahm at $10,800. We had Jordan Spieth at $9,700. And then we had 3 7K golfers and 1 6K golfer in Phil Mickelson. Your Millie Maker lineup, though, was 10-8 John Rahm, $7,600 Brooks Koepka, $7,300 Patrick Reed, 2 8K golfers in Cam Young and Victor Hovland, $7,100 Chris Kirk rounds it out. Now these sweet spot well, first of all, the optimal lineup scored 577.5 points. The Millie Maker lineup scored 542. So there's also a 30-point difference between the two. Sweet spot optimal number 1. Those are the golfers here with the green salaries next to him. So it's John Rahm at 10-8. $9,500 Patrick Cantlay, $8,100 Sung Jae Im, $7,900 Shane Lowry, $7,300 Patrick Reed, and $6,400 Phil Mickelson. Millie Maker scored 542. Your Sweet Spot Optimal scored 507. So it wasn't as good. So the Sweet Spot Optimal number 2 had no minimums. I think that's what probably did it in. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I'll remember this for the strategy video. So without the minimums, allowing the maximums to happen, optimal lineup 2, or where all the golfers here in the red font. So that was John Rahm at 10.8, $9,700 Jordan Spieth, $8,500 Victor Hovland, $7,600 Brooks Koepka, $7,000 Russell Henley, and $6,400 Phil Mickelson, and used up all $50,000 of the salary. So that is interesting. I'm gonna have to remember that. The minimums, I think having the live golfers in the field is what kind of did it in, because having a second place Brooks Koepka, actually 2 second place live golfers and Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson, and then a 4th place Patrick Reed really puts a wrench into the bucket system, because we're not tracking live tour data. When you look at those 3 golfers up there inside the top 4, that is a course history angle beyond any course history angle, because you're going to see they have 0 recent form stats. Yeah, we could include live, but they also weren't playing that great leading into it. Brooks, I think, won the live event right before jumping into the Masters, but this is just all course history. You have Phil, who's a past Masters champion. You had Patrick Reed, who's a past Masters champion. Brooks has played really well, not only in the majors, but also at the Masters. Famously in 2019, I think he finished 2nd to Tiger, right? Yeah, he tied Dustin and Xander for 2nd. So that's something to keep an eye out for all the live golfers in the field this year, is course history. So when we move to 2024, 12,100 is our highest salary. That is very manageable. You know, we have seen previous optimal lineups with like 12,300 or something like that. Let me double check. We had $11,000 Scotty. I'm trying to remember the $12,000 one that we saw. Yeah, there it is. 12,300. I was right. Jordan Spieth in 2016. So it is very possible that a $12,100 Scotty Scheffler can be in the optimal lineup. He's definitely going to have to finish, you know, probably 5th place or better in order to pay off any kind of lineup consideration. But this is a course history heavy tournament, and some of your top priced guys have really good course history. So if we have, you know, of the top 10 golfers, you know, Jordan Spieth and up, of the 10 golfers here, if say 60%, 50, like 5 of them, 6 of them, maybe even 7 of them finish inside the top 10, and Scotty doesn't win, then you wouldn't want to play Scotty. So it's really going to have to be, is it Scotty or someone else that wins this tournament? And I know everyone's going to probably pick everyone else because you're going to have better odds doing that. I'm undecided. I'm not exactly sure if I like Scotty more than I like the rest of the guys. I'll have to build some lineups just to double check, follow the sweet spot process while doing that. You're also going to see some golfers are still playing the Valero Texas Open. And it really depends on what they do at that tournament before I really make a decision as to what I like for salaries. But the cheapest guy is $6K. Remember, we're probably not going to play the bottom end of these golfers because they're amateurs or past champions, but everyone else is pretty in play. You know, low 6K, high 6K, does not matter. Lineup building is going to be a lot of fun. Again, we'll build lineups Tuesday night. But this is going to conclude the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. I have a $100 or the potential to be a $100 giveaway Tuesday night. We need to get to 700 subscribers. You see that all the way over there to the left? We're at 680 out of 700. If we get to 700, I'm giving away $100 Tuesday night. And if you want an entry into it, all you gotta do is be subscribed and comment down below. I'm going to be posting videos every single week leading up to the Masters. You have an opportunity to comment on all of them to get 1 entry per video to only increase your chances, your odds to win $100. Just again, you have a chance to win $100 by just subscribing to the channel and commenting down below. Now again, we have to reach 700 subscribers. That's all I wanted to leave you with. I'm excited for the Masters. Tuesday night, strategy video live. I will be building lineups. We'll be going over the finishing touches of the sweet spot process and hopefully building ourselves a $1 million winner. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you Tuesday night. All right, bye.